Hello guys, welcome to Sports Bet Daily Premier League Punters, heading into week 9 now. I'm your host Natalie Van Rijsselberghe, joined by co-host Flash, although needs zero introduction at all. And we're going to be joined by Mr. Money Martin Green, printing that cash for us week in, week out, as does Flash. How are you, Martin?
Very well, thanks, Natalie. I like that introduction. I like that nickname as well. I might start going by that. Change my Twitter handle and everything.
Yeah, Money Martin Green, yes. And so far, 29.1 units of profit. Not bad as it's a start. I know you always say, you're like, hey,
no, I think we've done really well.
Let's not celebrating. But everywhere in odds market is doing. I think we're up like 300 units of profit in odds market, literally printing cash. For instance, the start of the season, 29.1 units of profit. And tell you what, actually, we owe you a slight apology, don't we?
Really?
Yeah. They won't come often, so enjoy it.
Well, I've not heard it yet.
Arsenal win to 0.
Oh, did they?
Right? Did they? Arsenal win to 0.
Can you believe it?
And we were like, we were giving you crap about that. So listen, holding the hands up. It's great because it was a good. What was it?
3.2.
3.2.
But it was in a tough week as well, and that was the big one that really helped me out. Obviously, Burnley won as well at like 2.9. But we said that the last card was really tough. And then this week we've got on the back of an international break, and we've said to everyone, be careful on the back of an international break. Every time we start get rolling, something's coming along, but I think that the tactics that we've shown here on Premier League Punters this year has been absolutely spot on. We've found different ways to get away from the win market, maybe the goals market. We've just adapted really, really well, and we've picked our spots great.
Yeah, and you did a Lowlies video with Dave Betts yesterday, and you guys broached on the subject of, after an international break. So as obviously, are there any different ways that you're taking your bets of this week, obviously knowing that we've come off on an international break?
Normally you would do, but when you look at this card, it's quite simplistic. So, I mean, sometimes you have players that have been miles away from home and they've had dodgy results. They come back feeling sorry for themselves, or they've travelled all the way, they've not played a minute, and again, they feel as if they should have done, so they're not in the right frame of mind. But you've got other players coming back who have done so well, so their ego and the chip on their shoulder is so big that you can't wait to see them in action. But I think that this is quite a straightforward card, to be honest.
I think so.
Yeah, I really do.
But remember, I always say, though, be careful of these straightforward cards, because the ones that you think are straightforward are the ones that could let you down. Now, Martin, 14.7 units of profit. You have given 57 picks, 32 wins, and just 21 losses. Incredible. Do you have a tactic? Do you think this is a simple card?
I think it's a very attractive card, yeah. I was with Flash last time around thinking that it was a really difficult one. Lots of very evenly matched teams, really hard to find value. I think we did pretty well to extract some value out of it, but it was a challenge. This time around, I think there's plenty of teams here that I think should win. It is always difficult. We struggled last time after the international break. It may prove that way again, but things do look pretty clear to me on paper. Obviously, football doesn't always go like that, but there's some bets I like the look of, and I think it will give a couple of teams a good chance to regroup. And if they were in a bad form before the international break, particularly thinking of teams like Tottenham, a little bit of Bournemouth as well, teams that were struggling could plot a way back to get back to winning ways. So I'm probably discounting some teams' recent form as well.
Well, that probably leads us into our first game. But before we do, let us bring up our bet record from the Premier League Punters. It's our Premier League tips across odds market, both Sports Bet Daily and written content over at oddsmarket.com. 29.1 units of profit there.
You know what I like at that? Average price, 2.26.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the price, anything over sort of 1.9.
Yeah.
Because you can have a couple of them 2.8s, 3.2s, and they will. It's like, I like it like a bandage, because you can be bleeding some weeks, and then but if you keep doing and you keep believing, the bandage will stop the bleeding, it'll heal, and you'll be in profit.
Yeah. John Smith joining us. Hi, John. Good to see your name pop up there. Rafa, have you got the breakdown as well of how each tipster is doing? There we go. Money Martin up on top there, 14.7 units of profit. Flash there, 8.3. 3. There's obviously the two tipsters from Premier League punters. Dave Betts is also in there. He provides some Premier League tips for us. 6.1 units of profit is he over at oddsmarket.com, and he also came on the show yesterday as well. You'll be doing the lower league show, won't you?
Yes, every Friday now at 12:30. I say 12:30. We do the NFL show at 12 o'clock, but you never know how long that's going to go over because the boys are so enthusiastic and there's no stone unturned. And I absolutely love that show.
Yeah, I know.
I
Check
really
it out.
love it.
Check it out on Odds Market YouTube channel. All right, let us get on with these tips. So starting off with, can't believe Everton in 18th. Can you believe? Finished 8th last year. Everton 2.0, draw 3.75, and West Ham 4.0. First, why are Everton down in 18th, Martin?
Oh, I mean, I think they struggle for goals. Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't really up to it at this level, I don't think. Cenk Tosun hasn't really been given a chance by the new manager. Richarlison looks like their biggest goal threat, but he doesn't play in a central role. He hasn't been getting great service, and he's been in and out of the team with injuries. So I think scoring goals has been a real problem for them, and they haven't looked that solid at the back either. Lacking in confidence. Marco Silva's got a big reputation, but he's never actually really done the business in the Premier League for an extended period of time. This is a must-win for him. If they don't win this game, or if they lose this game, you'd think he's going to get sacked. He is the favourite to be the next manager to leave his post. This is make or break for him. But they're low on confidence. I think this is a bit of a game that you want to sort of treat with caution because West Ham aren't in great form, and these teams are very evenly matched on paper. Everton are desperate for a win, but West Ham will be pleased to spoil the party as well. I think this one really could go either way.
Yeah, very well said there as well. Evenly matched on paper. But we've got two people here. Jack Turner, love this comment. West Ham's price is way too high. I believe in Everton like I believe in the Tooth Fairy. And Sadek says, don't think Everton will win. You've definitely got like the West Ham double chance or something like that. I think it is a tricky game. Is it an official pass for you, Martin?
It has to be, I'm afraid, yeah. And I'm not going to pass on too many games this card. I think I've got 3 passes and 7 plays, but this is a pass for me because I'm just not sure what you're going to get for Everton. I mean, they badly need a win, but they're just not turning it on at the moment, so I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, all right. Over to you, Flashski.
Yeah, it's 100% a pass. I mean, Everton are homers, so if they're going to get anything, it will be this weekend, but they're too flaky. They don't know their best side. They've not got a leader in attack. You've got Gomez in midfield who goes sideways when he's got a forward pass. You've got Richarlison who, when he plays against the big sides, he turns up and he can be dynamic, but he doesn't know his best team. West Ham, they've been really impressive up until the last couple of games. It comes with a health warning, this game. There's just no need to get involved. Anybody that has a bet in this game, you are completely closing your eyes and just pinning a towel on a donkey. So good luck, but there's no need for it.
Yeah. It's tough though, that 4.0. Ooh, looks tempting, doesn't it? But yes, I agree. Let us move on. Aston Villa 2.48, draw 3.5, Brighton 3.2. Now, Aston Villa, when we started the season, they were pegged as a team to be relegated. They're in 15th. I'm not 100% sure now whether they'll be relegated. Obviously, we've got quite a way to go, but I don't know. I think they're going to hang in there.
I'm number one fader of Aston Villa all the way through. And the big thing that I found is that their confidence has grown beyond anything that I would believe. He's done a great job there, Dean Smith. I thought that he'd be one of the first managers sacked, or if not sacked, during the season. I watched him closely against Norwich. Norwich obviously they beat Norwich 5-1 at Norwich. It could have been 20. They absolutely smashed them all over. They won every individual battle. They created chances, and they made Norwich look like... Norwich beat them twice last year on the way up. So I think that this Aston Villa side, and remember they're scoring goals. So take away the 5, forget about the 5 they got because that's an isolated incident. But they scored 2-2 draws. Got beat 3-2. They went 2 against Arsenal. And we're talking about an Arsenal side now who keeps clean sheets. I'm messing about there. So I think Aston Villa, I've got to go with them. I have got to go with them because they're 2.48 against a Brighton side that doesn't score goals. And they can say, well, they're on the back of a 3-0 home win against Spurs, but the Spurs goalkeeper dislocated and his elbow, and Tottenham are in disarray away from home. So for me, I'm just going to go, not complicate it. I'm going for Aston Villa to beat Brighton at 2.48.
All right, a Villa win. Akira04 is liking Villa to win as well. 2.48. Martin, are you on the Villa train?
I'm just amazed to hear flashback Villa.
I know, right?
So adamant, so vehement against Villa at the start of the season. 8 games in and you're backing them to win. That shows what a great job that Dean Smith has done, and suggests that they might battle bravely against relegation this season and stay up. I said I've got 3 passes. This is the second one for me, I'm afraid. Flash said pin the tail on the donkey for the last game. I feel like this is a similar situation here. Both teams are coming off very, very strong, morale-boosting victories. Yes. Brighton needed a win badly. They got it 3-0 against Tottenham. They'll be surging with confidence. Villa had been playing well and they hadn't really got the results that they were due. Then they thrashed Norwich 5-1. So both teams are going to be really up for this game, really confident. If anything, I'd probably go with both teams to score, but I'm just away from it.
Yeah. I have to say, 3-0 win there, Bright. That is a morale-boosting win for sure. I think it's a tricky one. I'm actually surprised that you are going, not only that are you playing this game, but that you're going for Aston Villa. Not saying that they won't win, but obviously it's like...
I think this is probably one of the stronger spots out of my whole card, because I don't trust Brighton scoring goals away from home. If they do score, I see them maybe getting 1. But Villa have been scoring a minimum of 2 in maybe 4 or 5 of the games. So I just see Villa at home. Their tails are up. And I do not turn my back on value. And if you've got a home team that their tails are up, their confidence is growing, you see individual players that were happy early on in the season to get the ball and just pass it off. Now all of a sudden they're getting the ball, they're turning, they're running, and I'm watching the pictures and there's players running off the ball and the ball goes in the box and there's like 4 Villa players. And even if nothing comes of it, I'm thinking, wow, that team have got players who want to score goals. So for me at 2.48, I quite like it.
There you go. Sean Mack says lots of low scoring this weekend he's predicting. But Bosserman is liking over 2.5 goals and the both teams to score. Alex, classic. Do you think we're going to see goals in that game? Aston Villa, Brighton? I do like that.
I think it's just on Brighton, really. I mean, do we know if the Brighton centre-backs are going to play? Because... I look at the game, I think that Brighton just... I don't know what you're going to get away from home with them.
Yeah. True. All right, Bournemouth, 1.76, draw 4.5, and Norwich, 4.5. Norwich there, fast track to being relegated, just 1 win in 5. They're in 19. I think this home side, it was 1.7 earlier, it's now 1.76. I think it's a good enough, the home win. What do you think, Martin?
I'm going for the home win in this game. A bit annoying that the odds have gone in. I wrote an article for Odds Market on this earlier in the week and took odds of 1.85, which I'm very pleased with. Got my money on that. Yes, it has gone into 1.76. I still think there's value there. I'd still take that. I'll still go for that. If you do want a bit more out of it, you could go, say, Bournemouth and over 1.5 goals at 1.91, just to get a little bit more there, because there's going to be goals in this game, you would imagine. I just think Norwich have been defending dreadfully. They thrashed by Aston Villa. It's good for them that they had the international break when they did. It gives them a bit of time to regroup. But, I mean, they've had horrendous luck with injury problems, particularly at the back. And, Bournemouth are a very good side going forward. At home, Eddie Howe will have them well drilled for this game, well prepared. I think they'll go out and win this one. So, 1.76 on the win, 1.91 on them, and over 1.5 goals. Both of them look good to me.
Yeah, I thought we were going to whip out the Martin Classic on this one, because I'm not sure whether Norwich can find the back of the net. They're struggling to score. Bournemouth in the under 4.5 goals comes at 2.5. But even on the chat there, people are adding sort of like the over 1.5 and going that way around. What are you on?
First of all, I'd like to say that there's a lot of confidence this year, and there's a lot of bets throughout all the leagues on the team to win and over 1.5 goals, because we very rarely see anymore a team win 1-0. and it's so much value. It really is. I'm Bournemouth. Over 1.5 goals at 1.91.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me. I just see Norwich struggling to score away from home. I see that they've been too Machiavellian in other games and they get caught. I mean, there's games where they've been beat 2-0, I think maybe on 3 occasions. And on each occasion, they've been in the game. Pukki scores 1 in 5. I've had a couple of people at the start of the season say to me, he'll be top scorer in the league. No, stop it. He will be their top scorer, but he won't be in the top 8 or 10 scorers because Norwich will not score home and away. So Bournemouth score goals. Callum Wilson scoring goals. They've got plenty pace. They've got plenty belief. And at home, the one thing I was surprised that no one, I mean, listen, Martin always goes for Bournemouth, Alex Classic, both teams score an over. And he's ditched that because you basically cannot see or expect or guarantee that Norwich are going to score. So for me, Bournemouth and over 1.5 at 1.91 is, I'm happy with that.
I'd say if I was a viewer watching this, and even just being me, knowing that both of you are on the same bet, I think that would feel even more confidence. You guys are cracking. And it's interesting. A lot of your bets are actually very similar. So there we go. Bournemouth and the over 1.5 goals. I just like the straight Bournemouth win, to be honest. 1.76. But there you go. All right. Chelsea versus Newcastle now. Chelsea 1.33 and Newcastle come in at a further 11.5. Alexandru wrote, Chelsea screams as a Martin classic. Martin? Does it scream as a Martin classic?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, you don't really see you don't really see Newcastle ever shipping 4 or 5 goals. They keep things tight. They go 5 at the back. They never really get thrashed. They're always in the game. I think there's a bit of life about Newcastle now. Finally, they're my team to fade this season. For me, they're finishing bottom of the table, but they had that win against Man United. They got the Longstaff brothers in midfield now. There's a lot of energy. They're real, the fans can get behind them. They're both Geordies. They're both passionate young lads. So there's a bit of belief, but I think go to Stamford Bridge, go up against Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. If those 3 are playing, slight injury doubts over the likes of Kante, but if they're in the team, then I think they could take those Longstaff boys to the cleaners all day long. I just think this will be a straight Chelsea win. They've won 4 on the bounce in all competitions, scoring goals for fun at the moment. I think they've got the youth, they've got the legs. They can open up this tight Newcastle defence. I think that does look a good bet, but I'm just going to go Chelsea minus 1.5 Asian handicap at odds of 1.91.
All right. The question is, Newcastle do lack goals. They did, obviously, that was that 1-0 Man United win recently. But I wonder if Newcastle are going to struggle to score in this game. Obviously, Chelsea, they're picking up the pace now, aren't they? What do you like?
Really impressed. Yeah. Really impressed with Chelsea. Have been for a good few weeks now. I like the way that they do things quickly. And we've said on the show very early on that they like to play how Frank Lampard used to play, and that's get the ball wide, get your overlapping runners, and get bodies in the box, because I see too many of these teams, and they actually put the ball in the box, and there's 1 against 4. Well, if I said to you that Chelsea, I think they've had maybe 6 or 7 different scorers. Yeah. Kante scored twice. I mean, he hasn't scored twice in 80 games prior to that. So for me, I'm going Chelsea and under 3.5 at 2.2. I can see it being either 2-1, 2-0, 3-0. So for me, Chelsea and under 3.5 at 2.2.
Nice odds. Nice odds. All right. Leicester, Burnley now. Leicester 1.6. Burnley come in along a 6.7 there. Burnley are not travelling winless on the road here. Leicester undefeated right now on their home turf. That 1.6. I know it's low. Not for me, it isn't. Certainly is a good parlay or acca filler. What do you like in this one, Flash? Are you going for the Leicester win?
No, I'm not. For some reason, the old alarm bells are going off again. Exactly the same as they did with Newcastle and Man United. Same as they did with Norwich and Man City. This is a game where, Leicester could go and win the game, but Burnley are a side who are getting that resilience back. They just hang around in games. This could be a draw, but I don't see Burnley winning. But it's an international break. I mean, on the back of it, Leicester probably had maybe 10 of their 20 squad have probably been all away and been all over the place. So for me, Leicester versus Burnley is a complete and utter trap, and I would not go near it. if you paid me, to be honest.
So could it be a coupon buster?
Yeah, it definitely
Kill
could
all
be.
your Accas, because that's people will use that to put in their Acca bets. Won't they?
Yeah, I mean, but you could see Leicester just go and win comfortably. But the big thing is with Burnley that they do know they are tactically so aware. They will scrap. And they'll be there at the end. And if they are there at the end, you wouldn't put it past them to actually get a winner.
Ooh, okay. Over to you, Martin. Do you agree? Do you have any alarm bells over Leicester?
I think there's always alarm bells when Burnley are playing. I think Sean Dyche is the new Sam Allardyce. His team's very difficult to beat. They're going to set up to defend doggedly. They're going to lump balls up the pitch. They're going to throw loads of crosses into the box. They've got two strikers that are good in the air. But, Leicester are at home. They're in the top four for a reason. They've been playing well. Brendan Rodgers is an attacking coach. I think he'll go for it, win or bust here. They're going to go for the 3 points. They really want to have a good finish this season, and you can't really be drawing with teams like Burnley at home if you expect to challenge for the top 5 or 6. So, yeah, I'm going to go for the home win. I'm going for Leicester. I'm going for the Martin Classic. Leicester and under 4.5 goals at odds of 1.85. I think they'll just be able to grind out a result in this one. Burnley are a very good team, but players like James Maddison, Youri Tielemans, if they're playing, they can open up this Burnley defence. At home, I think they'll do it.
Yeah, they're starting to look a little bit like the team that won the Premier League a few seasons ago, I feel. It's refreshing to see them up in fourth. I think that they'll win. I think maybe it could be the curry you ate last night.
Yeah.
With ringing the bell. I don't know. I don't know where that bell's coming from.
Well, the first thing is about Leicester when they actually won the league, and obviously I was on the staff prior to them winning the league, was no one showed us any respect. Nobody. So everyone kept saying, though, don't worry, Leicester, they're full back, we'll be the ones that go and show them. And it was straight out of our feet, go long, squeeze up. And the amount of times they scored goals from the other team attacking. Now, all of a sudden, you go to Leicester, you're like, right, let's not leave no space for Vardy. Let's try and make sure Maddison doesn't get on the ball, and we'll have 4 or 5 across the back. I've got nothing against Leicester. I think Leicester are a very, very good side. I think they're a little bit like Chelsea, that they've massively improved. They've got good players. But for some reason, in my head, this game is don't go near.
Listening to your gut. Well, I hope I'm not dishing up another apology next week. So just because there's a lot of people seems to be on IPL betting says, yep, Leicester added in Acca with Wolves. But we do have Gerard Sullivan says Leicester will struggle with Burnley. Agree with Flash. But there are a few people that are liking. Poncho Rapido says Leicester all the way to the
But can
back.
I just say, boss? Can I just say that just because I've passed, but I'm obviously going to be cheering on Martin's Leicester and under 4.5. So I don't want. No, but I'm saying I don't want to be right. For me, there's better spots.
I know, but I worry about your alarms because your alarms are actually quite often true. Dare I admit it?
Yeah, well.
So that's what I'm just saying. I'm hoping.
Two compliments. That's 2 compliments. I'm going to have to go and have a lay down.
What is happening? I know. All right. Spurs versus Watford now. Spurs 1.44, draw 5.05, and Watford 8.0. Spurs will be looking to bounce back. And I always think about our friend Stuart from Tipster HQ, and that he would not have been happy with that defeat there. They'll be looking to bounce back. Can they bounce back? They should bounce back. At home, they're definitely a different team than they are on the road. So the question is will they bounce back?
Yeah, they will, yeah.
Yeah, big Man City styly, 8-0.
Yeah, well, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something bonkers like that, because this is a Watford side that they just can't defend. They don't want to defend. They don't pick up. They're disjointed. The gap between the full-backs and the centre-halves is like the width of the River Thames. It's like you've got runners, and when you've got runners, I think Moura, Lamela and Son, and then you've got Kane as their spearhead. For me, I've gone with Spurs, minus 1.75 on the Asian handicap. So I'd just like to throw that in at 2.5. Now, I think that this game is minimum 2-0 to Spurs. So if I'm giving up 1.75 and I'm getting 2.5, I was like, well, I just can't see anything other than Spurs getting themselves back on track. And against Watford. Watford, have they let in like 24 goals this year or something mad like that? Yeah, for me, I've got to go with Spurs all the way. I can see them maybe doing 2 or 3 up within an hour.
Again, Watford in 20th position. They need to turn things around, winless on the road. When we started this season, I was not expecting them to see them 20th, I have to say. So knowing that obviously Watford have got to turn things around, Spurs at home, they want to bounce back. Martin, what bet do you like?
Yeah, perfect opportunity for Spurs to bounce back. Like I said earlier, they've had 2 weeks to regroup, to get back into the right frame of mind, to unite under Mauricio Pochettino. Couldn't have a better fixture, really. Home against Watford, who, to be fair, were terrible towards the end of last season, got annihilated in the FA Cup final, and they've just continued that form over into the new campaign. Already sacked their manager. The new manager still hasn't won, conceding goals for fun. Yeah, I think Tottenham win this one comfortably. Not going quite as bold as Flash. I do like that. I'm just going for minus 1.25, which is 1.97.
So what's the difference? You still got to win by 2 clear goals there, haven't you? Is it just how much you are prepared to lose, is it, Mark?
Well, I get half my money back if they lose by 1 goal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not bothered.
Got enough units anyway. He's going in. All right, I've lost where we are. Wolves versus Southampton. Now, Wolves 1.9. Nice price at home. Southampton 4.7 price. The Saints, though, are faring better on the road this season. They've got 2 wins on the road and 0 at home. And sometimes it can be a little, it's a little tricky, isn't it, when you've got a good road side. 4.75 for the away win. But I think many are going to be on that Wolves win, aren't they? We did see, I think IPL betting has put Wolves and Leicester together in an ACCA. What are you taking, Martin?
I'm going to go for Wolves in this one. Yeah, it is difficult after the international break. This is one of those potential banana skin games. Southampton have been in poor form, haven't they? But you never know with the Saints. They could. They've still got decent players. They're well coached. They could pull out a result. But I do think that Watford are the better team here. They're in good form. They're climbing up the table, and they've got home advantage. So I think they're in a good place right now, especially after that victory last time out. If they can take inspiration from a 2-0 win away at the Etihad, then they've got to be beating Southampton at home. And 1.91 looks like a very generous set of odds. So yeah, I'm on the home team.
Home side, are you on the Wolves train?
Oh, why would you not be? On the back of winning 2-0 Man City, clean sheet. They've won their last 2 games. They're starting to get that sort of Europa League hangover out of the way. They're going away from home in the Europa League and keeping clean sheets. And Southampton, it's a mask. They're averaging maybe 1 goal a game. They got stuff 4-1 at home against Chelsea. They got done 3-1 at home against Bournemouth. They're not getting bodies in the box. The creativity level is lower than we've seen for a long while. Defensive unit is disjointed. They don't know their best side. Wolves and over 1.5 goals on the Asian handicap is 2.4. And that's going to be my banker.
On what? Sorry, I missed that one.
Wolves and over 1.5 goals at 2.4. I just see Wolves winning. I think Wolves are far too classy, and I think they'll more than get the job done. And if you wanted to bring in the Alex Classic, maybe 2-1, 3-1, as long as it's over 1.5 goals, I see Wolves winning.
We've got Osis says Southampton draw no bet. And there's a few people that's liking draw no bet. Southampton draw no bet. He goes, and that's because anyone who beats Man City loses the next match. And there's a few people that are actually leaning towards that Southampton.
I can only put them off. I can only put them off. I do not see, and no one is seeing the way that Southampton are playing that they will go and get anything from this game.
Okay.
No one.
Yeah, it says, Alexander says, Southampton plays well away, but Wolves will get it. Seems like there's, equal sides over here of deciding of what to go for, but I have to say I'm liking Wolves at 1.9 at home there. Right, Crystal Palace versus Man City. Man City 1.24. Not really a bad price, to be honest, for Man City. Crystal Palace, obviously, at a larger 13. So, obviously, the second upset of the last round was Man City losing to Wolves. We saw what happened last time they lost. They bounced back, and they bounced back big. 8-0 win. Will it happen again? Are you going to go for that Man City and over 4.5 goals?
No, I'm not.
No?
I'm leaving the game alone because Crystal Palace are absolutely flying. They go to West Ham and win. They go to Manchester United and win. And I know that they're big ties on paper, because obviously Man United are probably bottom six side in the way that they're performing. But this Man City side, I think, will win. But I think this is like maybe an under 2.5 goals. But I just, again, I thought I've got so many other things on going on. I think Man City definitely win. It's how they win. And I thought maybe they would win maybe 1 or 2-0.
God, would you play the under 2.5 goals? I'm going to pick up the odds for that one. I don't think many people are going to be on the under 2.5 goals.
Yeah, I think this will be a tight game. Yeah, I think that Roy Hodgson, he'll get his old tactics balled out. And if you remember rightly, I think that Palace have caused these boys problems in the past. So I definitely think Man City win the game, but I just think that it's maybe a 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, interesting. Under 2.5 goals, Martin, you get 2.88. Are you tempted?
No, sadly not tempted. This is the third of my 3 passes. Like Flash says, Crystal Palace are a bit of a bogey side for Man City. Beat them previously under Pep Guardiola's reign. And they've been causing problems for a lot of big teams this season. I know some people might not consider Man United a big team anymore, but to go and win at Old Trafford was impressive. Beat West Ham. They're in great form for doing really well. Roy Hodgson's done a great job there, considering the resources at his disposal. The odds that are available on Man City, I just can't find the value by giving them any sort of handicap or anything. You'd fancy them to get the job done. They're just so inconsistent at the moment, Man City. Like, they can go and beat a team 8-0 and then they just drop points all over the place. Defensively, they're in trouble. I have no idea how this one's going to go. I would urge everyone to stay well away from it.
Yes. Moving, I agree as well. So obviously an official pass from the team here. Manchester United 5.4 now, hosting Liverpool 1.7. Huge rivals. I'm just bringing up some of these odds, obviously. So at the beginning of the season, where were they? They were 4, 5, about odds of 4 there to win the Premier League. They've now dropped to 1.67. But I asked you, didn't I? Because when Man City lost last weekend, I was like, ooh, is Liverpool going to win it? And what did you say?
No, they'll do the same. They were 10 points clear last year. It will be when there's a couple of injuries, when they play each other. So remember, Man City can beat Liverpool twice, and that'll be a 6-point swing. You've got Liverpool that will drop points from nowhere. Listen, yes, it could be tighter. I don't, but all the values now with Man City. I mean, you can get 2.4 about Man City to win. You just don't know, because the thing is I'm not doing Liverpool a disservice, but if Van Dijk or Salah or Mane, they lose so much because they haven't got that midfield that creates. Wijnaldum, Henderson, Milner, they just don't create. So if you lose one of them like big guns or one of the cannons, then all of a sudden a team has only got to concentrate. It's almost like the NFL. If you've got 2 wide receivers from the opposing team, then you've got problems because you can't mark them both double team. As soon as one comes out, they want you to go that way, so you can set up better. So for me, I still see Man City winning the league.
Do you agree with that, Martin?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, before the start of the season, everyone would have said that Man City win it comfortably, but Liverpool are on a real strong run of form. They look really solid at the back. I think there's belief about these players now. Yeah, totally agree with the fact that a couple of injuries could really derail Liverpool's bid. I mean, I think they've done really well to win their first 8 games of the season despite having Alisson injured, which is a real blow for them. They've been conceding a lot more goals than they normally would. You feel like even if Van Dijk gets injured now, they've got Gomez to come in, who's a pretty good player, alongside Joel Matip. I don't think they'll concede loads. Yeah, if 2 of their forwards get injured, they've got problems. But Adam Lallana can come in. He's reasonably creative. They've got Divock Origi. I can see them going on and doing it. I think if Man City are going to win the league now, they have to go on one of those epic winning runs because the stakes are so high. And I feel like I do feel Liverpool will drop points, but I think Man City are going to drop a lot more points because they just haven't got it defensively. I think they'll go and spend a ton of money on a couple of defenders in January in an effort to close the gap. but might be a bit too late by then. So I can see why Liverpool are odds on favourites.
Yeah, now obviously Liverpool favourites in this match, but it is a big rival game, and Manchester United are going to pull in at Old Trafford. But obviously Liverpool is still the undefeated team, and losing that record there's just so much stake in this game. I think a lot of people will be taking Liverpool based on their current form this season. Well, last couple of years, but 1.7 there. Could this be an upset? Are you staying away from the game? Is it just a little too risky?
It doesn't feel particularly risky to me. I can see everyone saying that Man United aren't going to let this go. There's a huge local rivalry, and Liverpool haven't got a very good record at Old Trafford. But I just see a real golfing class between the two teams. If you look at the form, Man United just lost to Newcastle. They're 2 points above the relegation zone. Liverpool have won all 8 games so far this season. They're better in every department. The only way that Man United can stack up against them is in midfield, and Pogba's out of this game. So you're going to have the likes of McTominay coming up against Henderson. They're pretty evenly matched there, but I think Man United struggle at the back. They're not creating chances. They're not scoring goals. I think they'll really struggle. They're not creating chances in open play at all. They were dreadful against Newcastle. I think Liverpool go there and ease to a pretty comfortable victory. I backed them earlier in the week. I got them at odds of 1.83.
Wow.
I'm happy with that. And it's been going in, but still at 1.75, I'll still take that, definitely. I can't see them losing this game. I think they'll win it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, you were talking as well about the next manager to be sacked. I think Solskjaer's head's on the line, isn't it? Isn't that's not...
Yeah,
what are his odds? Because I thought he would be one of the favourites too.
Yeah, he's sandwiched in between Marco Silva and Mauricio Pochettino as 3 horrendously performing managers. I think he'll be given a little bit more time to turn things around, perhaps, than Marco Silva will at Everton, but it's going disastrously for him. He doesn't seem to have the tactical nous. He just keeps on speaking about how he's going to take things back to the Alex Ferguson way, play really exciting, really ambitious football. But we're not actually seeing it on the pitch. They're not creating chances. They're not doing anything. They're poorly organised. They're dropping points. It's not looking good for Solskjaer. I think they're going to have to hold their hands up soon and admit that they made a mistake and go for someone else. Don't know when they're going to finally turn this thing around. But yeah, I can't imagine him lasting too much longer at this rate.
I know. So 1.7. A few people on the chat here are saying as well, after the international break, anything can happen. That's Dono7 saying there. He says, United, a double chance, easy. What do you think?
Copy and paste everything that Martin Green has just said, apart from the way that he's gone about it and find value. This side... Man United are devoid of creativity, of energy, of bite, of discipline, of want, of will, of desire, against Liverpool side who score goals from Salah, Mane, Firmino. They've got defensive players that come up and attack the ball on set pieces. You've got probably the 2 best attacking fullbacks in Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. There's just matchup after matchup of it's just a miss. It's just a miss for Man United. If they turn up, Man United, they all want lining up against the wall and absolutely shooting because they haven't tried and bothered a leg all season. And now all of a sudden, the big guns come to town. And listen, they beat Leicester 1-0 and they beat Chelsea 4-0. They are frauds, Manchester United. And I hope that Liverpool stick 5 past them, because that's what this team deserve. They need to be embarrassed live on the telly. And I'm going Liverpool minus 1.5 at 3.
Yeah.
I see 2 goals between them minimum, and I hope that Liverpool embarrass them and get 5.
Jack Turner says, did you mention talent? And then Zizou says, it's serious if Man United lose. Ole Gunnar will be fired. Man United have to show something. They do have to show something. But do they have the talent and the ability to show something?
No, and they haven't even got the want. I mean, this team have averaged like 1 goal a game. They've just gone to Newcastle and hardly laid a glove on them. They went to Southampton and they... It's just embarrassing. I mean, the young boy, Daniel James, that's gone in there, he's been the only, sparkle. I mean, you've got Harry Maguire at the back. I think their recruitment's been absolutely atrocious, and I said it prior, I've said it publicly, I've said it vocally. I said that Manchester United are an absolute joke club at the moment, and that's an embarrassment because they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. And the only reason that we get such good prices on other teams is because the bookies know that people bet Man United blind. Man United are not a bet for anyone. I said about Newcastle will beat them.
Yeah.
But I had to leave the game alone. I just cannot go near Man United, and I hope Liverpool put 5 past them.
If Liverpool win by more than 3, the coach is gone, says Zizou. All right, moving over to our Monday fixture on tele.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Lots of goals. Well, I was going to say, I don't know. Well, actually, we're going to start with Martin on this one. First of all, 2.0, very nice. Arsenal in 3rd. Congrats. Not a nice little space with their son. And so then they're not commonly known for keeping clean sheets. Yet in their last 3 games across various competitions, they have conceded that 3 of their last 5 they haven't conceded. Obviously, that one that you called out, we told you it was a suicide bet. You didn't listen to us. Good for you.
Blind squirrel.
Broken clock.
Yeah. Mouse and cheese.
So at first I was thinking to myself, right, Alex Classic on this one, but I'm a little nervous, to be honest. But I think don't complicate things and just go straight for the Arsenal win. Martin, what are you doing?
I'm not going to complicate things, and I'm going to go straight for the Arsenal win. I'm obviously going against the trend because Arsenal were 1.9 a week ago, and they've now gone out to 2, even money. So obviously the bookmakers aren't getting enough action on Arsenal, so they're trying to make the odds a bit more attractive because people are probably going for the draw. Because Sheffield United have been a tough nut to crack so far this season. I don't think Arsenal are going to go there and blow them away by any means. I think it's going to be a very tight game. But I've just seen enough from Arsenal to suggest that they can grind out wins this season. They beat Newcastle 1-0 on the opening day. They didn't play well, but they just about eked out the 3 points. And they did the same against Bournemouth last time out. It was pretty ugly at times. They didn't play great. But, you know, when they were 1-0 ahead, they sat back and protected their lead. Unai Emery made some defensive substitutions and they closed out the win. Some of the fans are getting pretty upset with him, with his tactics. They're thinking he's not adventurous enough. It's not the easy on the eye football that they want to see. But it's been effective so far. 3rd in the table. They're ahead of Man United, Chelsea, Spurs. Doing okay. I think this is going to be a really tight game, but I can see Arsenal going there and winning 1-0. 2-1, something like that. So, yeah, I think the opportunity to double your money when there's Arsenal have better players in every position. Sheffield United have done well, but I think with Aubameyang in front of goal, they've got someone that can win them this game. So, yeah, not going to complicate it. Go for Arsenal, even money.
I have to say, though, I'm quite surprised. A few of the chat people then said Arsenal's away record, worried face, Harry Doherty. But you've got IPL betting, Organised Plus. There's a few people. Ryan Edwards, Sheffield United win. Jack Turner, I don't trust Arsenal away. I thought this was quite simple, to be honest with you. But I see you've crossed it out. You don't think so? You think that Sheffield could get the win here,
Sheffield
possibly?
United away on a Monday night. On telly.
Home.
Yeah, that's what Arsenal, right. Yeah. Listen, it jumps out of the page. Arsenal 2.0. You just jump on and then you go, hang on a minute. We've been in this spot before with Arsenal. They look too good. Sheffield United will try and beat them up. It's as simple as that. They'll get up and the thing is, Martin's right. Every player is more talented than the Sheffield United players. But I'll question maybe half a dozen of them Sheffield United players will have bigger hearts and more desire than the Arsenal boys. I think maybe 75% of the Sheffield United games have gone unders this year, so they know to keep it tight. Remember, Liverpool only went there and won 1-0 late in the second half. They will get amongst them. I think there's many bets probably to be had. I mean, both teams to score is probably my favourite, but I can see this being a 1-1. I can also see Sheffield United getting a bit too big for their boots in play. If there is 1-1, I think that Sheffield United will not settle for 1-1. They'll go for it, and that's when Arsenal will hit you because you've got class going the other way. I think this could be an absolute classic to watch. Yeah. But you try and get me to actually tell you what's going to happen prior. No, thank you. No, thank you. I mean, listen, I think Sheffield United could go 1-0 up. So at 4, you could do an in-play and cash out. But I think there's just too many quandaries for me. So I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah, could be tricky. That's interesting stuff. And there's a few Shamil's liking the under 2.5 goals. Ryan Edwards says isolate Aubameyang, and they are average.
Well, you say that, but then some others can come alive. I mean, they have got proper little footballers, but you think Sheffield United are going to let them play around? I'm telling you now, there'll be a bank of 4, and then there'll be a bank of 5, and then they'll split, and then they'll push up, they'll stop the centre-backs coming out, and the whole thing that they'll try and do is get Arsenal to play the ball, a little bit like Man City got caught at Norwich. They'll play them little 5, and Arsenal got done at Watford. It'll be like that. Chris Wilder, I've known him for like nearly 30 years. He will set traps and get his whole team to go and smack them. And listen, if we can get individual brilliance from Arsenal, all well and good. But this absolutely stinks of Chris Wilder doing a job on them.
All right, so there we go. 10 games previewed, just a few passes this weekend, but both the boys feel quite confident as we head into week 9. Someone is asking very quickly, though, before we run down, so we're going to run through the bets, and then also if there's a banker, which is a 2-unit play, all the other ones get a unit, and if they've got a parlay or acca. Somebody was asking, though, Alessandro Flash, what are your best accumulator from the first 3 English leagues? Did you give an acca on yesterday's show?
No, I just did all singles, but they can. But if I'm putting them up as singles, put them together as well.
Yeah.
I know you know that I don't put 1.5s in accas, so just do 3 doubles and a treble, because the double was always going to pay over 3-1, and that's what your layout was originally.
Jack
and if you're thinking about it, you can if we go for, say, a winner, if you want to do it in an accumulator, you can go for draw no bet just to cover yourself a bit more. And, you know, say if we're going for the win and over 1.5 goals or the win and under 4.5 goals, just stick it in directly as a win if you're putting an accumulator.
See, there's the voice of reason.
Yeah, exactly.
There he is.
The voice.
There's the accountant talking.
That's why it's at 14 units of profit.
Exactly.
And actually we will, for those who've joined a little bit later, after the bets, for one final time, we will pull up that record. Every bet accounted for on both the Premier League Punters show, but also our Premier League bets over at oddsmarket.com as well. So it includes Dave Betts, who gives us some Premier League tips over at Odds Market. All right, so start us off, Flash. What are you going for? Run down your plays and then give us a banker and a...
I know there's a few shocking plays from me this week, but I'm quite liking them because of the value. Aston Villa, 2.48 to win. Bournemouth and over 1.5 goals at 1.91. Chelsea and under 3.5 at 2.2. Spurs, minus 1.75 on the Asian handicap at 2.5. Wolves and over 1.5 at 2.4. I'm going with Liverpool minus 1.5 at 3. And my banker, I'm going to change my banker. I'm going with Liverpool. I'm going with Liverpool as my banker, minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at 3. And I'm going to have a lovely parlay of Wolves and over 1.5 at 2.4. And Spurs minus 1.75 at 2.5. That's going to pay me plenty. I'm happy with that. That's about 7 that pays.
In there.
Yeah, I just think Watford is just a joke. I could still score against Watford.
Okay, Martin, what's you going for?
I'm going to go for, well, I've gone for Bournemouth to beat Norwich at 1.85. It's since gone into 1.76, but I'll take that anyway. And go for Bournemouth and the over 1.5 goals at 1.91 as well. Chelsea minus 1.5 Asian handicap against Newcastle at 1.91. Leicester and under 4.5 goals against Burnley at 1.83. Spurs minus 1.25 Asian handicap at 1.97 in that home game against Watford. Wolves just a straight win against Southampton, 1.91. Liverpool to beat Man United, whatever odds you can get. And Arsenal, even money away at Sheffield United. The more we were talking about it, I was just thinking I want to make Arsenal my banker. Talk about isolate Aubameyang and their bang average. I know Aubameyang's been our best player so far this season, but we're a team full of internationals, full of expensively assembled players. Dani Ceballos is going to walk back into the Real Madrid team. There's players that can create there. There's a lot of exciting young talent, lots of good players to bring off the bench. I see Arsenal winning that game. Double your money. The odds have got even more attractive. So if I could anything, I'd have two bankers, Arsenal and Liverpool. But I'll put them as a double because I think both teams will win.
Martin, was you not tempted, because obviously you are so confident on Arsenal, would you not tempted to really boost it and go Arsenal over 1.5?
Or under 4.5.
No, you ain't get 4 goals against Sheffield United.
No, under.
Yeah, oh right, okay, yeah.
Well, under maybe. I've seen a bit from Unai Emery that he's been really cautious. If you score 1 goal, we beat Newcastle 1-0, we beat Bournemouth 1-0, grinding out results.
The mighty
teams.
Bournemouth and the mighty Newcastle.
Well, it's the mighty Sheffield United, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. But I just think the fight in the dog is a lot better than the dog in the fight.
Yeah, but I mean, the old adage goes that Arsenal don't like it up 'em. You got a cold night on a northern ground. Arsenal don't like it up 'em. But you know, that was Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. This might be a new one. We've got players that are a bit more scrappy, like Socrates, Guendouzi. Now, I don't know. They might still not like
red
it.
Red card alert. There could be a red card Monday night. Fancy a red card Monday night?
Oh, yeah.
I promise you now, the one thing I can guarantee is they will get stuck into Arsenal like nobody's business. It'll be interesting to see, if people do their homework, who the referee is and what his liking is for a red card. Remember, VAR is in operation as well, so we might see some, maybe a red card come through VAR. Have a little look. Red card alert, Sheffield United, Arsenal.
I was reading some of these comments because they've noted that Martin is an Arsenal fan. For those that were in, it was one little comment. I had to sit here and listen to you literally like pull Man United. I'm just like, oh well, I'll just be like, we talked about Aubameyang, and it was just like, what? All right, okay, so we've done everything, right? And then, okay, so Rafa, one final time, let's bring up the record, please. There you go, 29.1 units of profit this season alone across our Premier League Punters show and Premier League tips given at oddsmarket.com.
I've had one of them voids. My first ever void.
Really?
I've never had a void.
When not?
Well, because I don't do Asian handicap. I don't listen, do I?
But you finally. Someone wrote as well that I seem to have smartened you up.
Again?
Yes.
Again? Makeup.
14.7 units of profit is our Money Martin.
Yes, excellent.
Money Martin in the green.
I'm loving it. And the thing is there,
and our
about Martin, 1.96 average. I'm liking that as well.
Yeah.
I like that.
If I was on that board, my average would be like 1.62, wouldn't it?
Not like 1.62, it would be 1.62.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, guys. We'll be back Thursday next week, back to the normal time. Come join us. What is it, 1 p.m.? No, it's 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, there we go.
7
2 p.m.
o'clock
Eastern time.
UK.
It's 12 o'clock here in Costa Rica. All right, guys, thank you so much for everybody on the comments. So let's get some more winners this weekend. Of course, to Martin and my wonderful, smart co-host, Flash.
And Champions League next week, Monday.
Yeah.
Come and join us.
Of course, Champions League on Monday. See you then. Bye, guys.